Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and we are watching more of Season 3 of Formula E. This time from Buenos Aires in Argentina, and this kind of made me cringe because I'm pretty sure the whole point of this electric series was its environmentalism, or its messages about environmentalism. So why have we gone from Hong Kong to Morocco to Argentina? All three are on different continents. It just doesn't seem like a very, well thought out calendar. But nevertheless, this has the exact same grid as the first two races, but this will be the last time this season we see Ma Qinghai in action, the Chinese driver who will disappear for a couple of years, actually, is on his final round for Techeetah. So with that, make sure you go back and watch all of the other episodes of Let's Watch Formula E, and then subscribe to the channel. So let's jump into this third round of Formula E from 2016, 17, whatever. Let's just get started.
And we go green in Buenos Aires. Who's going to get a good start? Buemi's got away pretty decently. So was the poleman De Grassi on the run down towards the first corner. De Grassi covers the inside line. Can Buemi outbrake Jean-Eric Vergne into turn one? I don't think he can. Vergne's going to hold that inside line. Then it's the two next EV cars. A little bit of rubbing further back, but nothing too dramatic. But Lucas De Grassi it is who has held the lead. And Jean-Eric Vergne has held off the fight from Buemi, who slots down into third position. The two next EV cars are going side by side further back, and Nico Prost actually is trying to make his way past Nelson Piquet Jr. This is the pinch point at turn 4. Are we all going to get through safely? Yes, just about. Perfect start for De Grassi, Dario.
Yeah, absolutely, did exactly what he had to do there. I was quite surprised. I thought Buemi was going to pass Jeff, but you can see
this
the side by side further back.
We will have full course yellow in 10.
And we're going for a full course yellow, so that will mean all the cars have to slow down to the same speed, and it will neutralise the race.
Full course yellow.
Full course yellow now, and it all gets a little bit tight coming down into there. And oh, it's Adam Carroll. It's Adam Carroll in the Jaguar. Didn't get off the line, and that's why we've had to have the full course yellows.
So if you've watched the last couple of episodes, you'll know that Sebastien Buemi has started this series like a cat on fire. He has been unstoppable, taking the first two wins. This time it's his biggest rival, Lucas De Grassi, leading from the line, and he gets a good jump. Everything looks good. Doesn't seem to be any contact, or maybe the odd bit, a little bit of contact. But unfortunately, Adam Carroll has broken down on the line, hasn't even got away, and so we get a full course yellow to start us off.
Spectacular stuff as they come through that chicane, and then even more spectacular here.
Love this corner.
Throwing the cars in pretty much flat out.
Oh, absolutely. We're wide open down into there. Any moves going into one. Oh, there's one at the back.
Here comes Mitch Evans on the attack, going up the inside of D'Ambrosio, locks up both tyres, but the Jaguar driver gets through. D'Ambrosio's going to fight back, side by side through turn 3. D'Ambrosio knows he had to get out of that one, and that could put him under pressure from Mauro Engel behind as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stefan Sarazan, who's trying to go around the outside of turn 3, and there goes Vergne into the lead of the race. Jean-Eric Vergne for Techeetah goes past Lucas De Grassi and is now in front, and that means it's Buemi and De Grassi, the two old rivals, nose to tail in second and third. So Jean-Eric Vergne takes the lead for Techeetah.
So there's something I hadn't really noticed until this point. Firstly, it's strange seeing Mitch Evans down the back of the pack, but this was Jaguar's first year, to be expected, and it was a great overtake he pulled off on the Dragon. But that brings me on to Dragon. For the first two seasons, they were consistently near the top of the field, but so far in Season 3, they've been a little bit disappointing. And we know D'Ambrosio and Duval are both good drivers, it's just doesn't seem to be working out for him this year so far, and that's actually quite a big shame because I'm a big fan of Jerome D'Ambrosio. Hopefully their luck turns around or they gain some performance, but so far this has been a pretty terrible season for them. At the front, Jean-Eric Vergne has got past Lucas De Grassi. Honestly, for a top 3, you have Vergne, De Grassi and Buemi. That's half of Formula E's championship winners right there. This should be an incredible fight in this race.
There's a reason for it though. I mean, that's a lot of places. Did he make a mistake? Has he had a car issue?
Now, this is Buemi's favourite overtaking spot, coming down into turn 4. Vergne knows it. He's looking in his mirrors, but Buemi isn't close enough to make the overtake just yet. And you're right, Turvey's right there, and here comes Prost. Prost going up the inside of Nelson Piquet Jr., and he is now up into 5th place. He's got past Rosenquist, and he's got past Nelson Piquet, and Prost is recovering well up into 5th spot.
Piquet just does not look comfortable here. It looks he's all defensive. He's slightly offline at every corner, and he's just struggling a little bit. Whether it's with grip, what's going on, I do not know. He's using energy, which is very unlike him. And I think Rosenqvist is just setting him up for a move here.
Just 0.4 of a second between Verne in the lead and Buemi in 2nd place. These two former Toro Rosso Formula 1 racers, and it's Verne who's driving for the Techeetah team up at the front. Now they have the same technology in the car as the Works Renault team behind.
So Buemi basically just jumped past Di Grassi. It wasn't even much of a fight. Maybe Di Grassi is saving energy. I'm not sure what his strategy is at this point. So now Buemi is chasing down Verne. Great job from Oliver Turvey to hang on in 4th as well. He's not too far behind the leaders. Behind that, Prost has got past Piquet. Piquet does seem to be struggling more than Turvey. Other than that, the Virgins have run into trouble. That's a weird sentence. But Bird and Lopez have dropped to the back of the field, and they haven't really shown us a reason why. But this race has not started well for them. Other than that, it's pretty much as we were, and Verne versus Buemi is really starting to heat up.
They're not allowed to do testing and things like that because they are a customer team, not a manufacturer. Is Buemi looking it up, coming down into turn 1? He's thinking about it, he's going for it, and Sebastien Buemi takes the lead in Argentina. Easy as you like, up the inside, got the job done on the brakes, and the championship leader's back in front.
I have to say, Jack, that caught me by surprise. I thought Jean-Eric Verne was going to put up a much bigger fight there, but look at Oliver Turvey. He's setting up Lucas Di Grassi for turn 4. This next corner, yep, pulled out.
Here he comes then, up the inside, and he gets it job done on the brakes.
Di Grassi is in trouble here. He is absolutely in trouble because he just didn't even fight off there. The energy is quite similar to those around him.
Well, Turvey's got past Di Grassi, and it was a decent move. And also Buemi's taken the lead from Verne, so forget all that heating up business. The race is pretty much done.
Big lock up from Turvey coming into turn 10. He had good pace. Now he's sort of becoming a bit of a bottleneck, but he still overtook Di Grassi.
Front and behind, same.
So the guys in the front and behind are the same. Big lock up from Turvey. Still managed to find the apex of the corner.
I'm wondering if he's changed the map on the regen, because the motors obviously they act as a rear brake for the car. I wonder if he's changed that bit because he's really locking the fronts now. So something in that setup of that next EV car has changed.
It's 1 point, I should say, for fastest lap. It was 2 points last year, now it is 1 point. Lap 10 of 37 here in Buenos Aires. And Nico Prost is now just deciding when to try and make his move on Lucas Di Grassi. I think he's got, well, a fraction more usable energy, and I mean a fraction. But if that fraction is enough to mean you don't have to brake as late or brake as early coming into one corner, that's enough.
My money's on turn 1 next lap.
Okay.
I'm really unsure about Lucas Di Grassi's strategy here. I presumed that he didn't put up much of a fight because he was saving energy, and yet he's still behind Oliver Turvey, and he seems to be using more energy than everyone else. We're only about just over a quarter of the way through this race, but it's already looking like a bit of an uphill struggle for Di Grassi. And other than that, nothing else has really changed. Sam Bird has switched to his second car, so he's not going to make the end of the race. And there's a gap forming between Buemi and the rest of the field because, once again, Buemi is just flying away out at the front.
Nico's aggression, if that was maybe Buemi. Oh, he's having a go now.
Here comes Nico Prost up the inside into turn 4, and he's got the job done on the brakes. Turns it in.
About his aggression then.
Yeah. And he goes through. A round of applause from Jean-Paul Driot. A cool sip of a drink from Alain Prost. But the Renault car now is up into 4th place ahead of Di Grassi.
And that is big news for the Renault E-Dams guys. Watch how he catches up now with Oliver Turvey. Let's see that.
Was Di Grassi? Oh, he was pretty
looking
close there.
He was looking, and he caused Nico Prost to look in the mirrors.
So here's a look at Di Grassi's telemetry on the right-hand side. The outer ring, you can see his speed.
If only as a driver you had all this information and a heads up.
You got the power amount he's using in the middle of that dial on the right-hand side. His best lap, a 1 minute 12.1, about 7/10 slower than the fastest lap of the race. And you can see how much energy he has remaining, 37% left.
And now Di Grassi's lost another place, Nico Prost. Really not sure what's going on with him. And I think he needs the pit stops to happen sooner rather than later, which we're not very far off. It should only be 5 or 6 laps away. And I think Di Grassi really needs a new car because this one's clearly not working out for him.
Well, again, it's all about just getting to that pit entry at zero. There's 0% left in this battery. It's all about getting in this line. You'll see pit entries just coming up on the right-hand side of your screen there. Once you're in there, you're okay. And it's a minimum pit stop time today, 55 seconds.
Yep. Come in, change cars, and then out again. And see, Grassi was pretty close here to the back of Nico Prost. Do you think he's going to fancy it?
Yeah, he's up.
Copy.
Is
Grassi going to fancy going back past Nico Prost? Feints to the inside. Prost locks up. He's going in deep. They keep it together just for now.
He just, by jinking out there, it gets a Nico Prost mirror, distracts him a bit, and then you see him locking up. That gets Nico Prost's heartbeat up a little bit, gets him thinking more about Grassi rather than attacking Turvey.
Exactly, that gives Turvey a little bit of, and actually Nelson Piquet's coming back into this now.
Yeah, he is.
In the other next EV car at the back there with the yellow wing mirrors, he had dropped well away from this battle, but has now managed to crawl himself back in. Mitch Evans out there.
So we are nearly at the halfway stage of the race. Very soon we'll be diving into the pits. I think Oliver Turvey especially is desperate for it. He's the worst off on energy, and he's really struggling ahead of Prost and Grassi. Grassi's tried to make a move back on Prost, and I think it's just because Prost is stuck behind Turvey, and it is probably hurting his race quite a bit, both Prost and Grassi. PK's caught him back up as well, and he's on about the same energy as everyone else, so this has been a really good race for Neo. First one for a while. It's going to be interesting to see if the pit stops change anything, especially in this midfield battle that's going back from 3rd to about 6th or 7th.
Can he then do in terms of attacking? Here's a look at the replay. Is this an unsafe release?
Yeah, because PK had to lift.
The trouble you have is that is that corner before.
It's blind, yeah.
Yeah.
The crew chief, the mechanic who'd released Grassi out there, it was he's blind, so he can't. When he released him, the car wasn't in view. But then PK had to brake. So here's Rosenquist.
So he's gone one lap longer, and he is about to, and his teammate as well, coming into the pits now.
So we got some drama in the pit lane. Grassi came out right in front of PK. Looks like he might get a penalty. This race is really not going Grassi's way. Interestingly, Oliver Turvey was the big loser in the pit stops because he dropped behind Prost, Grassi and PK, which will be very annoying for him. And up the front, Buemi is still out the lead. Apart from a brief yellow flag for a distressed Mara Engel, not too much has changed. So it's now just watching to see if anything happens to Grassi and whether, if he gets away with it, can he make progress through the field? And can anyone get close to catching Buemi?
Yeah, Grassi looks a bit racier with his car, doesn't he?
Yeah, he certainly does. We're on board with him here, and he's, as we say, he's got the fan boost.
He's
Little
online.
switch from Prost. Is this going to be the opportunity for Lucas Grassi as we come down the start-finish straight? They are nose to tail. Grassi has the fan boost. Is he going to utilise it coming down to turn 1? He looks up the inside, gets on the brakes. Is he going to be able to overtake Prost? Yes, he is. Lucas Grassi up into 3rd position, ahead of his rival team from Renault, and Nico Prost drops down to 4th. I don't think he used his fan boost because he knew he had it anyway.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Now let's see, can he catch up with Jean-Eric Vergne? That would be a battle royal if he catches up with Jean-Eric Vergne, because right now Buemi's he's off, isn't he? He's got a 5-second lead and he's just managing it.
Yep, 5.4 seconds. Here's
So Grassi has got back past Prost, and so far no punishments for him. So maybe the second half of this race is really going to turn around and work in Grassi's favour. Buemi up front is going to be uncatchable. He's nearly 6 seconds ahead. So short of a safety car, you're not going to see him again. And the race has kind of quietened down a bit. The Neos haven't been able to keep up with the pace of the front runners, so they're dropping back. And at the moment, we're 2/3 in, and it has gone a bit quiet.
Lopez is really losing out of turn 1, which is allowing the guys to get away, so he cannot make the move into 4.
And here comes Heidfeld up the inside of Robin Fraintz coming into turn 4. Heidfeld, man on a mission.
Quick nick on a charge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Robin Fraintz looks in the trouble here.
Yeah,
he got offline or something, but
doesn't look happy. And this is all good news for Daniel Abt because it's allowing him to just edge away a little bit in front. A swap of position between the two Dragon cars as well. D'Ambrosio is now in front of Loic Duval in their battle in 7th and 8th place.
The Heidfeld is still under investigation for being under the minimum pit stop time, so that's hanging over his head a little bit.
Buemi using his fan boost just for fun, I suppose, because he's only 3 seconds in front of Jean-Eric Verne. In fact, on that last lap, Buemi did a personal best, but was still 0.2 slower than Verne. De Grassi's charge to the back of Verne has slowed down meanwhile. So it's 3 seconds from race leader there, Sebastien Buemi, the 27-year-old Swiss driver in that blue and yellow Renault car. It's 3 seconds from him back to Verne, and then 2.3 seconds back to De Grassi as Robin Freites is under pressure now from Stefan Sarrazin.
Okay, so forget the battle at the front. Not much going on there. The gap between Buemi and Verne has come down, but it's clearly because Buemi's backed off to save energy. De Grassi was catching Verne for a bit, but that seems to slow down as well. Behind Oliver Turvey is where the action is. Between 6th and 15th, there isn't really too many big gaps. Heidfeld's made a couple of great moves through the field. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to get a penalty for a too quick pit stop, which is one of the rules I never really liked with Formula E. And there's other people with penalties hanging over them. I think Mitch Evans is going to have a penalty for, I think it was speeding in the yellow flag times, whatever. And again, he hasn't taken a penalty for that yet, but I'm pretty sure that was given, so I don't know what's happening with that. But otherwise, Evans is doing a fantastic job for Jaguar in 9th. This was their first really strong showing. De Grassi, no one said anything about a penalty for him, so it looks like he is definitely fighting for 3rd. But at the moment, the battle in the midfield looks tight and is definitely worth watching. It's all been very clean so far, so hopefully that continues. Although a safety car, it'd be nice to tighten things up at the front a bit.
And you got that long run into one. Everything there happens.
21.39.
How you get out of turn 10 is all that's all about.
2.9, copy.
And Lucas de Grassi
2 more kicks to the back.
is under investigation for an unsafe pit stop release. So we mentioned it at the time when he came out in front of Piquet. It'll be a harsh one with that flying corner, but, well, that's an interesting one.
Sometimes it's not up to the teams to make up for the deficiencies of the track. You know, I hate to say it, but you know, if you can't see the car coming and you release the car...
The quirks of the track, should we say.
Yeah, well, you can say what you want. But seriously, it's a brilliant place, but that is a blind corner. And if the mechanic releases the car before the other car's in view, he can't do anything more, I would say.
Yeah, indeed. So here they come again.
They're catching Ma here.
They certainly are. And here's Lopez now. What's he doing? He's battling with Robin Freites. So Lopez is in front of Freites and up into 11th place. He's made the move into turn 1. Another standing ovation for Jose Maria Lopez. Freites is now behind him.
So we are heading towards the end of the race, just a few laps left, and homeboy Jose Maria Lopez is making some fantastic overtakes to finish this race off. Up the front, I don't think anything's going to change. There's still some pretty big gaps between everyone. This was a race I said Dragon weren't doing very well this season. They have climbed to 6th and 7th, and D'Ambrosio has got something like 20 seconds over his teammate behind him, so I don't think that's going to change. As for penalties, De Grassi still might get a penalty, and Evans and Heidfeld. So honestly, even at the end of this race, I'm probably going to have to check what the results actually were, because it might have changed from the actual finish of the race, which is a shame. I never like it to happen like that. So hopefully we get a clean finish, and it's not been a bad race. It's had its slow moments, but the battle between De Grassi and Prost at times was really good, and the midfield battle has been good, although that again has spread out now. So mostly Lopez is just outside the top 10, but is really making some moves right now. He could still get points if people ahead of him get penalties, so it's worth keeping an eye on that. So we're going to see what the last 3 laps are like.
The point is, the car on track, or the car in the pit lane had to break.
Oh, look at these two!
Teammates!
The 2 Dragon Racing Faraday Future cars, and at the moment it's D'Ambrosio who's in front of Duval. They're in their own little race, really. They nearly came together in Season 2 in Beijing, and meanwhile, Oliver Turvey is now behind Daniel Abt. There's been a change for 8th place. Here comes Duval, Jinky one way, Jinky in the other way. D'Ambrosio locks up. These two are really larking around.
Remember
Daniel
in China when they almost came together?
Daniel Abt, look behind, is in front of Turvey.
Oh,
So Abt is up into 8th. Goodness me. Jay Penske, the team boss of the Faraday Future Dragon Racing team, is going to be interested in this.
Gives them a raise. That's mega.
So then there's Abt in front of Turvey. Turvey's now been caught by Mitch Evans.
Final lap.
And it's now the final lap for Sebastien Buemi.
So apparently D'Ambrosio didn't have a big lead over Loic Duval. Let's hope they don't crash into each other on the final lap.
Is he going to be the man to make it 3 out of 3. The first man to score a hat-trick of Formula E race victories, and Vern's backed off on that last lap. Buemi turned in a good lap. Vern had to slow down. And so I think Buemi has got this one in the bag. Well, you probably could have... Oh, and in the wall is Sam Bird. Sam Bird's in the wall. Now, is that going to cause chaos for these battling drivers? Because there's a yellow flag out there now. That's going to be the interesting
thing. It's certainly
thing.
limited their passing opportunities, hasn't it?
Exactly. So we could see it all come together at a grandstand finish down here. But Sebastien Buemi, I mean, well, this man has had some entertaining races here over the last couple of years. He won in Hong Kong, he won in Marrakesh, and by winning in Argentina, he is the man to take a hat-trick of Formula E wins.
Super job, super job. Tu pousses le in-lap,
That was a clinic on how to do it right there.
Super job.
Second for Jean-Eric Verne, third for Lucas de Grassi.
Yes.
Fourth is Nico Frost.
So, something of a dramatic final lap as Sam Bird bins it, but he was already 5 laps down and it was already a pretty terrible race for him. Sebastien Buemi becomes the first Formula E driver to win 3 races in a row, a feat that I don't think many people will have accomplished given the chaotic nature of Formula E, so it is a massive achievement. This was a decent race, it wasn't amazing, but there was some good battling here, and apart from Sam Bird binning it, very little contact, very few, I don't think there was any crashes, so it was a very good, clean race. Points for Jose Maria Lopez at home as well, which is nice to see, and a great performance from Neo, both drivers in the points. It's a shame Turvey dropped so far down, he ended up 9th, but PK, the former champion, was 5th, so it's a good points haul for them. De Grassi did get to keep his 3rd place, which I'm not sure how they decided that, and Verne and Buemi, very, very good job in their respective places. Buemi has won the first 3 races of the championship. It's hard to imagine how he loses it from here. But Verne, I think this was the year where he really was a breakout star. And other than that, in the top 10, there aren't too many surprises. Prost in 4th, which he's finished 4th in the first 3 races. And in the end, the Dragons finished 6th and 8th. Duval managed to get 6th. I don't know what happened to D'Ambrosio. I'm sure he had a big lead over Duval, so I don't quite know what happened to him. But he ended up behind Daniel Abt as well. So that was the Argentine round of the 2016-17 Formula E season, the first Formula E race of 2017, and with Buemi firmly in the lead of the championship, obviously, we'll go and look at the team standings and the driver standings. So EDAMS have a massive lead out in front due to both drivers scoring very well over the first 3 races. Abt Audi, mostly because of Lucas de Grassi, are trailing them. Mahindra remain in the top 3, despite the fact they didn't do too well in this race. And Neo and Techeetah, the 2 Chinese teams, surprising everyone with some good results. They're up there in 4th and 5th. As for the driver standings, obviously Sebastien Buemi is out in front. He is pulling a massive lead on Lucas de Grassi in 2nd, who really needs to get a finger out and start catching him. Nico Prost isn't too far behind de Grassi, with Jean-Eric Verne and Felix Rosenqvist rounding out the top 5. That was the Buenos Aires E-Prix of 2017. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave your thoughts down in the comments below. I'll be back with more Formula E and more motorsport in general, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're wondering, Mong Kring Ha finished 16th in his final race of the year. I've never seen him actually race in Formula E. He never gets to be on camera because he's always down the back somewhere. And with that, have a good one.